Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to our webinar, which is all about discounters and their new store concepts and the shopper mission, why the shoppers are coming and shop at the discount. I'm Milos. I'm heading the discount research at IGD as well as the research in Central Eastern Europe. And I will be talking mainly about the new store concepts which are discounters introducing, and also a bit about the strategy of the discounters. And I will be joined by Rupal, my colleague, which will give you information and insight to the shopper's behavior, to the discount shopper's behavior. And before we do that, I'd like to just mention our terminology that you understand what we are talking about. So when we are talking about food discount, we have in mind discounters like Aldi, Lidl, Biedronka, Penny. When we are talking about high street discount or variety discount, we have in mind the UK discounters like Poundland, Home Bargains, B&M, or Dutch discounters like Big Bazaar or Action. So why we are talking about discounters? Have a look at this chart where you can see the top 5 leading retailers in Europe. Schwarz Group, Carrefour, Tesco, Aldi, and Metro Group. The largest retailers based on their revenues in 2016 and 2017. And you can see that 2 of them are discounters. More interestingly, have a look at the right side of the chart where you can see the annual growth in the next 2 years. So we forecast that the Carrefour, Tesco, and Metro Group will be growing at the lower single-digit numbers, whereas discounters will be growing in the next 2 years much faster. And I have a first question for you. Claire, can you bring the slide with the poll, please? So the question is, which of the leading discounters, which I showed you now, will be the fastest growing in the next 2 years? A, Aldi, or B, Lidl? So most of you, shall we wait maybe another 10 seconds? Yes. So 64% of you are saying Lidl, which is the right answer. So Lidl, we forecast that Lidl will be growing in the next 2 years at the annual rate around 6.7%, whereas Aldi around 4.2%. So the growth of Lidl will be driven by its fantastic financial situation. They are able to finance the store expansion across all European markets and preparing the market to US, but they have also the funds for the vast project of remodeling of its stores, which is taking place in almost all countries today. More on Lidl and Lidl strategy, you can have a look at our website at Retail Analysis, where we have published a new Lidl report on the 5 strategic initiatives of the report, which gives you the guidance how you can grow with the discounter. But before I look much into detail of the discounters like Aldi and Lidl, I'd like to give word to Rupal, which will have a look at the UK market and the shoppers' behavior in the UK. Rupal?
Perfect. Thanks, Milos. Hi, my name's Rupal, and I look after the shopper insights at IGD, and actually what I'd like to do is just give you a bit of background. So although we're looking at UK shoppers, actually a lot of the trends that we're seeing can be seen across Europe and globally as well. So it's really interesting in terms of how we can look at the UK data but really try and understand trends across the globe. So we talk to 1,000 UK shoppers every single month on a range of topics, from financial sentiment to the channels they're using, the drivers of store choice and product choice as well. We also talk to 1,000 high street discount shoppers twice a year and 1,000 food discount shoppers twice a year. So this is some of the data that I'll be sharing with you today, but of course I've only got limited time. So if you want to know about other data, please get in touch after the webinar and we can see if we can help you out. So the first trend I'd like to talk about is just financial sentiment, and you can see that fewer shoppers expect to be better off in the year ahead. We've now got 16% of shoppers saying that they expect to be better off in the next 12 months, and this is 22% in May. So what we're kind of seeing is that more shoppers are saying that they'll be the same or worse off. And actually, when we start to look at this on a week-by-week basis, this does coincide with UK voters choosing to exit the European Union. So we can see that actually when we talk to shoppers about their expectations of food and drink prices over the next 12 months, 40% are saying actually they'll stay about the same, and 50% are saying they'll be more expensive. In that final week leading to Brexit, we saw this rose to 72%, so 3/4 of shoppers saying that food and grocery prices will increase in the next 12 months. This is something that we are going to be keeping a very close eye on, so please do keep it using the website and looking at how we're looking at this data, but certainly price is going to be a key thing to look at over the next couple of months. And actually this desire for everyday low pricing and price is so key, and we've seen that with how well the discounters are doing, both food discount and high street discounters. So 3/4 of shoppers are saying that actually they prefer low prices to promotion, big promotions, because they don't really have the space to store a lot of stuff, but also they're finding it very difficult to understand different promotions and which one really gives them best value for money. So having a simple low price helps them to do their shopping. It's really important to work with your shoppers to understand the optimum price and your promotional strategy for your brands to make sure that you're meeting shopper expectations from this perspective. And as we talk about, so saving money is important, but actually quality is also important. So if we have a look, this chart shows the percentage of shoppers saying that price is more important in the next 12 months, and those shoppers saying that quality is more important in the next 12 months. And as you can see, the two measures have converged, so actually just as many shoppers are saying that price is important as quality is important. So shoppers really want value for money, and actually the discounters, again, both food discount and high street discount, meeting that need. So shoppers aren't really willing to compromise on quality, and actually 45% of shoppers are saying they can get the same or better quality for the same or less price as in the past. So price and quality, that getting that value equation is really important, and as I said, discounters really hitting the mark. If we look at missions totally in the market, what we're seeing is that TopUp is a real key mission that shoppers are undertaking, and actually this is something that we'll look at in more detail in a minute, but certainly both top-up shopping for staples and fresh items such as bread and milk and produce is something that shoppers are doing more of. We're also seeing that the big main shops, so stocking up on bulky items, is reducing, and food to go another increasing mission. So if we look at top-up in detail, you can see that 9 in 10 shoppers are now conducting a top-up shop, and this has risen year on year that we've been tracking. 5% of shoppers are now buying more items in a top-up shop than 2 to 3 years ago. So we're almost seeing this emergence of top-up shopping as a way of life, and almost these mini main shops. So instead of having a main shop, shoppers are buying more and more in their top-up shop, and that's more frequently, and that's constituting how they're shopping around these days. And where are the shoppers doing this top-up shopping? Well, what we're seeing is that traditional channels are facing a threat. So as you can see here, 1/4 of shoppers shopping at frozen food specialists, 1/3 of shoppers doing their top-up shop in high street discounters, and 38% at food discounters. So this top-up shopping actually is happening, occurring a lot in some of these other non-traditional channels, if you like. So we'll focus on food discount and high street discount. So first of all, if we look at food discount, a quick poll for you. So what proportion of food discount shoppers' food and groceries budget is spent in food discounters? So the food discount shopper, specific shoppers that we look at, what proportion are they spending in food discounters in terms of food and grocery? So just give you a couple of seconds to make up your mind. So the last few coming in now. A real spread. So we've got 36% saying 19% and 45% saying 26%. So the answer is 19%. So 1/3 of you getting in there. But again, this is why it's really important to keep close to this data to really understand how shoppers are feeling and how they're shopping and understanding that behaviour. And you can see that, what we've seen is that shoppers food discount shoppers saying some of their spend was in food discounters, and that's going down from 40% down to 36%. And conversely, we've seen an increase in those saying almost all of their shopping is now done in food discounters. And what we find is that food discount shoppers kind of go into these stores, buy a couple of things, and actually are very surprised by the quality and the price that they're paying, and actually go back and buy more and more and more. So actually, food discount shoppers are really delighted by what they're getting, both in terms of price and quality, so that value for money in these stores. And actually what we're seeing is, compared to 2 years ago, 47% of food discount shoppers now only going to a food discounter on their last trip. In the past, we've seen food discount shoppers doing a food discount shop and then going to a supermarket to buy all the things that they couldn't buy, or to some of the brands that they were looking for, or some of the range that the food discounters didn't have. But now, as shoppers are comfortable with the brands that are available in food discounters and the extended ranges that we'll come on to talk about, actually very comfortable doing more and more of their shop in a food discount store. So looking at shopper missions at food discounters, you can see that 49%, so half of shoppers, are going in to do a top-up on fruit and veg in food discounters. And this is actually driven by female shoppers. So 54% of female shoppers versus 43% of main shoppers doing a top-up of fruit and veg in a food discount store. Items that they can buy elsewhere but prefer to buy in discounters. So again, shoppers choosing to go to food discounters to buy these products that they can buy elsewhere, 45%, and actually that's driven by older shoppers older food discount shoppers choosing to shop in this way. And then a third of food discount shoppers doing their main shop in a food discounter now. And that's driven mainly by younger shoppers. So again, shoppers who have grown up with food discounters as part of the big four as well, so having a choice of these stores and really being familiar with them growing up as well, more comfortable with doing shops there, as well as being comfortable with the brands that are available there. We're seeing dinner for tonight at an increasing mission, and again, this is something that food discounters are really kind of getting behind. So where they started out was with the fresh, with the chilled, with the meat, fish and poultry, as well as fruit and veg and the produce. But actually now, we're seeing them bringing in more of these ranges for dinner for tonight, so chilled, kind of convenience options, and something they're really going after. So a real opportunity, and shoppers are liking that convenience element and actually shopping these as they become available. And similarly, we've just started to track food to go in food discounters. So again, something that we'll be keeping an eye on. And what we're also seeing is that there's fewer shoppers going in to buy non-food items or buy something on special offer or buy an advertised promotion, so something they've seen as a footfall driver. And what we're seeing is, because food discount shoppers are established shoppers within this channel, actually they're going in anyway to do their top-up shopping or their main shop. So they're shopping these things when they're there. So therefore, those initial footfall drivers that we saw are no longer their primary mission, although they are shopping them once they're there. And that's what keeps them going back. We've heard shoppers talk about seeing what's new in the middle aisles and seeing what's different each week, that it keeps that excitement going. So although those aren't the primary missions for these shoppers, actually still something they look forward to seeing when they are in store. So how are discounters really meeting these needs, and how are they providing satisfying shoppers from this perspective? Miloš is going to take us through some of the retail formats of how they're meeting these missions from a retail perspective.
Thank you, Rupal. So as we have heard, the shoppers' behavior has changed a lot, and it has had impact on the strategies of the discounters. So discounters, to be more competitive, had to react to it. So we see a certain evolution in the discount concept for hard discount, which was maybe 10-15 years ago a discounter with 800 SKUs, mainly private label products, probably 90-95% of private label products in terms of volume, only private label products on the economy level. But we have seen then the discounters started to list more branded products, and the ratio of the share of branded products increased to up to 40% from revenues. The discounters started to expand the private label product ranges into tiering, into the niche ranges. They started also to promote their products, so they moved from the strict EDLP strategy to the EDLP strategy, with limited promotions or tailored promotions. And the relationship between the discounters and suppliers has become less transactional. When we look at the discount channel now, we will see in both in the food discount channel as well in the high street discount channel, hybrid discount concepts. So as the discounters are changing, adapting their store concepts, we can see that they are moving more towards supermarkets, so opening larger stores like Lidl, opening stores with 1,400 up to 1,600 square meters of sales area, offering more SKUs, up to 2,000 SKUs in the store. But the discounters are also including more convenience features or testing convenience store concepts in the cities. And they are also becoming multi-channel retailers, so they are testing and investing slowly into e-commerce. So in the next 3 slides, I'd like to cover these 3 aspects of the hybrid discount. When we look at the food discounters, here you have examples from Lidl and Aldi. So on the first picture you can see the future format of Lidl, which Lidl is now rolling out across Europe. So you can see it's a large store, a lot of space, wide aisles, but the core product category, fruit and vegetable, is at the beginning of the stores and takes big part of the sales area. Not only Lidl, but also Aldi is looking to new store concepts. So on the middle picture, we can see a new store concept which is being tested at Aldi South in Germany, in Munich. You can see how upmarket is the fruit and vegetable section. Aldi South has done a lot of shopper research before they changed the store concept. They studied how the shopper is shopping and came to the conclusion that the fruit and vegetable section is at the end of the store, in contrast to Lidl. And on the last picture you can see the fruit and vegetable section from Aldi North. So very traditional, very conservative discounter, but even Aldi North now has pilot store concepts in Spain, where this picture was taken, but also in France. You can see that they are trying to make the store more spacious and improve the shopping experience with the way they merchandise the products. But the discounters are not only improving the fresh category, which accounts by some discounters up to 30-35% of revenues, but also in the bakery section. So you can see Aldi. This is one of the examples this is the example of Lidl, where Lidl is now rolling out this massive bakery corners, in-store bakeries. But what's interesting is expanding also the range, as you can see on the small picture. Expanding the range of products, tackling the convenience factor of the store, offering products like pizzas. But having space in the store, the discounters are also looking how to develop their product ranges. So on this picture, I'd like to share with you the private label product range of Lidl, when Lidl developed entire range for Italian meal. So at one store, at one place in the store, you can buy the Italian pasta, the sauce, the herbs, all as a private label product of Lidl. And opening larger stores, discounters are also looking more into the non-food items, and the Lidl in its new store concept expanded these non-food items. So now you will find products, not only the fashion products, but also DIY products and white good products. So big range of non-food products, and the sales area in the new store takes up to 1/3 of the total sales area of the store. So food discounters going towards the supermarkets, but they are also looking to the convenience factor, to the convenience trend among the shoppers. So on the first picture you can see the chilled box, which is Lidl testing in its city store concept in Amsterdam, a store which has only 500 square meters with a lot of ready meals, a lot of food to go. Another example is the middle picture I have from Aldi here in the UK, when Aldi is expanding its ready meals, launching the soups. And the last picture I'd like to share with you is from Poland, from Biedronka, where Biedronka actually dedicated a special sales area in the checkout zone, offering food to go, fresh juices, fresh prepacked fruit and vegetable, and sushi to the shoppers, so offering the convenience factor to the shopper. But the convenience is not offered only in the food section, it's also in the non-food section. So we have seen that, for example, Biedronka and Lidl have developed its health and beauty products in very small travel packaging. And they want to also, the discounters want to also offer to the shopper nice shopping environment. So they, in some markets, in some stores here in the UK, they have introduced the self-checkout technology, which really speeds up the transaction in the checkout zone. And the discounters want to leave the shopper when they are leaving the store with a really nice experience. So in all discount stores at Aldi South as well as Lidl in Germany, in the new discount stores you will find the coffee machine where the shopper can buy coffee for €1. So I was talking about the movement towards the supermarkets, move towards the convenience, and I'd like to also talk about the e-commerce. We get a lot of questions about the strategies of the discounts regarding the e-commerce. So we have seen some very recent development this year when Aldi launched its e-commerce in the UK, and Lidl, which has been operating e-commerce in Germany for a couple of years, entered Belgium and Netherlands early this year, and it plans to enter also the Czech Republic by the end of this year or the beginning of 2017. But all this expansion there is about non-food ranges. So none of these discounters is planning to launch the food product ranges into the e-commerce. They want to keep, for the time being, they want to keep the business model very simple. And we strongly believe that they will be investing into the e-commerce, but the investment will be not as big as investment into the standalone stores. So both Aldi and Lidl have still a lot of good prospects, a lot of potential for the store expansion here in the UK or in the US. So the e-commerce will be on the cards in a bigger scope probably in the next couple of years. But we consider this as a very good strategy because in the long term the discounter will be able to offer to the shopper the seamless experience of shopping offline and online, shopping where the shopper wants to shop. So I have now covered the food discounters, and I will give word back to Rupal, which will be talking about the high street shopper and how the high street shopper perceives the discount channel.
Thanks, Miloš. So the next set of data I'm going to take you through is the high street discount shoppers we've spoken to. And the first thing I want to say is actually what we've seen is that penetration is static in high street discount stores. So actually, these stores need to do something new, something different to attract new shoppers and increase the frequency of their existing shoppers. And again, Miloš will come on to look at some of the new things that they are trialing. But certainly, what is it that you and your brands can do to help these stores attract, create new shopping experiences and offering new stores? And also, I guess these stores need to pull on a lever other than price to really kind of tempt the shoppers to come in. I think the other difference I'd like to pull out is between how the shopper mindset differs between when they're supermarket shopping to when they are shopping in high street discount stores, because high street discount stores are very different to shopping in supermarkets and even to some extent food discount stores. So these stores tend to be the likes of Poundland or B&M Bargains, Home Bargains in the UK, and those are very price driven, and actually shoppers really trust that these stores are giving them a good price. So Poundland obviously having a £1 fixed price point, but even with the other stores, shoppers feel they're getting real value for money and really not questioning the prices as they would do in some of the other multiple retailers that they go to. So there is this implicit trust and a less price comparison and less kind of scrutiny of what they're buying as well. They feel like they can fill their trolleys because at the end of the day, it's not going to be a kind of till shock at the end when they get to the end. The other thing is that shoppers actually do like spending a lot of time in these stores. So while we've got those shoppers who are popping in for 5 or 10 minutes in their lunch break or after work before their bus comes, and picking up quick things that they know they want to buy, we've got a lot of shoppers actually going to these stores as a destination and really wanting to walk up and down every single aisle. It's something they enjoy browsing. So it's not a chore like supermarket shopping, and it's not something they're rushing and they want to do as quickly as possible and get out. They actually want to explore the whole experience and really enjoy it. And the kind of things they talk about are, it's an Aladdin's cave, it's a treasure trove, because you never know what they're going to find. They never know what they're going to find, and actually they're open to buying pretty much anything in these stores because of some of the stores don't have consistent range. So actually shoppers don't begrudge that and really like to explore what they can find. So how can you make your product stand out? And 71% of high street shoppers do not always have a shopping list when they're going in these stores. So again, really bringing out this impulse opportunity, you know, really kind of making your brands and products stand out in store, and shoppers are really open to buying them. They don't have a set list, and you know, shoppers feel they're getting really good value, so more than happy to kind of put things in their basket without really giving them the consideration they would elsewhere. So a real different mindset that actually you can really tap into. So if we look at the shopper missions, actually what we're seeing is that 41%, you know, are predominantly most shoppers going in to browse, as I mentioned, you know, not having the shopping list, and also to really walk around and enjoy their time there. The next three codes, you can see, to buy something they've run out of, to buy one specific item, or food and grocery top-up. Again, bringing in that top-up element that I talked about earlier. So really tapping into that top-up opportunity, and how can you make your brands and products part of that mission. And I guess even from a health and beauty perspective, you know, if people are topping up, could you put handbag size hand lotion, for example, nearby, and really thinking about how you can do things differently, because these stores, again, are more open to being merchandised differently to a standard supermarket format. The other thing that I'd like to really highlight is this, to buy a snack or to buy something for lunch or on the go. So this on-the-go mission, or food for tonight, is something that these stores are really going after, and it's something that they haven't traditionally done. And again, Milos will come on to talk about some of this in a minute. So in summary, I think there are 6 kind of typical missions undertaken in a high street discount store. So the first is around kids' parties, and really whether you're hosting one or whether you're attending one, being able to get either the party bags or the decorations or the gift and the card that you're going to be giving to someone all under one roof is really handy. But as well as buying, you know, the sweets and some of the other party kind of food and drink that you need as well. The second thing is around refreshing their home. So actually being able to buy things, like non-food items that they can just buy to kind of refresh their home, or if a glass breaks, actually it's really cheap and easy for them to replace it. So not really thinking again twice about buying some of these things, and finding new and different things in these stores that they wouldn't find anywhere else. Seasonal events is huge for these stores. So again, people kind of really going into these stores when they're at seasonal events, because again they can find something different, but kind of really catering for the whole occasion. So being able to find food and drink items, gifts if they're looking for gifts, decorations to decorate their home, and really being able to find lots of different things under one roof. Health and beauty, a huge mission in high street discount stores, and again they're able to get the brands that they know and love at prices that they want to pay. So again, becoming a real destination for health and beauty. And gifting is a really interesting one. So we've seen where people are kind of going even to other people's houses for dinner parties, rather than kind of buying a bottle of wine or taking flowers. This way they can buy something a bit different. So sometimes they're buying like candles or photo frames or vases and things and taking those. And finally, you know, food and drink being a huge mission, and this is becoming bigger and bigger in these stores. So Milos will come on to talk to those. But I guess the final thought I want to leave you on is just, you know, how can your products, you know, help attract shoppers into this channel and fulfill the missions that shoppers are looking to fulfill? So are you targeting by, you know, the right products within these missions as well? So again, within each of these missions, we can really start to break down, well, who is it that is going in for a particular mission? So we can start to talk about some of those. So I'll let Milos talk through the retail formats.
Thank you, Rupal. So we have heard how the shoppers, how the high street discount shoppers react and what they expect in the stores. So have a look. Let's have a look how some of the high street discounters change their store concepts to the high street shopper discount behavior. And I would like to have a look in the UK and talk about Home Bargains very briefly, because it's a discounter who has the best performance among the high street discounters in the UK last year. And one of the core product categories in this concept is health and beauty. As Rupal said, health and beauty is very important for the shopper. So when you enter the store, you will see a wide range of health and beauty products. But that's not at all. Home Bargains also focuses on the traditional categories like seasonal products and toys, which are very important to the shoppers in this kind of store concepts. But Home Bargains took it even further and now is expanding, investing into the food ranges to target the new mission of the shoppers buying or looking for food at the high street. So it's now rolling out in its new stores the chilled sections and the freezers, as you can see on the bottom picture. It's targeting the shopper with the top-up mission, offering them the bottle of milk or offering them bread. And what's interesting is that the chilled section is pretty large, and it's presented mainly by the branded manufacturers, which is really in contrast to the food discounters. When we look into Europe, we will see food discounters which don't offer any branded product in the dairy product category, which is not the case of Home Bargains. And the high street discounters are thinking also about opening larger stores, expand their ranges, something what I have described by the food discounters. For example, Poundland is also is testing a new store concept, Poundland and more. But Poundland is also very great in terms of convenience. So I highlighted that the discount concept is moving towards supermarkets, it's moving towards the convenience. So have a look at these pictures and these slides. So what Poundland is doing is actually putting into the stores the chilled boxes with chilled drinks and chilled food to go. Food to go, which includes the ready meals, which includes sandwiches, fresh juices, but also, as you can see on the bottom picture, limited range of fruit and vegetable. So the high street discounters are really looking for the way how to differentiate themselves, not only from other high street discounters and moods, but also from the food discounters. And one of the great examples of a new store concept is Guess How Much. So concept which was launched a couple of months ago here in the UK. You can see on the top middle picture, a very strong focus on price, so branded products for 95p or even 29p. So this store concept is really competing with the high street discounters, with other high street discounters and food discounters, but also offers the bulk packaging, so bulk packaging of Coke, of crisps, but also in the health and beauty section we have found some bulk packaging of detergents and nappies. And it keeps the traditional, the category which is important in this store concept, so the seasonal product range, the party product range, the household product range. But what's very interesting about this concept is that actually build up on the experience of Lidl, when Lidl was very successful, has been very successful in its fashion range. So Guess How Much included the fashion range as a permanent range in its stores, as a permanent range of men, women and kidswear in cooperation with the brand manufacturer Pet & Co. So it's increasing the credibility of the fashion range. So very interesting concept which I'd like to highlight. And with this we are at the end of our webinar. So just to sum up, what I wanted to say is that the discounters are becoming much more shopper-centric, and there is a lot of opportunities for new suppliers, but you have to know more in detail the discounter strategy. You have to be aware of the shopper-centric strategies of the discounter, and you have to know how the shoppers react, what's the discount shopper inside, what the shopper wants to have at discount stores. So I hope we could help you if you have any query regarding this, if you need any support from us in terms of building your business strategy, then please let us know and we are more than happy to help. Claire, do we have now any questions? Shall we take any questions from our audience?
Yeah, I can take some. Perfect. Hi, so we've had one question about the EDLP message that I talked about. Where shoppers prefer EDLP over promotions, and this is from a spirits manufacturer. And the question is, does it vary by category? And what we're finding is that actually, no, because shoppers shopping around can really buy things, at the price they're willing to pay at the low prices. So for example, Home Bargains, which Milos just talked about, they're starting to introduce like craft beer, so really kind of over and above the basic kind of range that you would expect in some of these stores, craft beer at really low prices. So shoppers are actually learning to, shop around and find the things that they want to buy at the price they're willing to pay. So it's just something to be aware of, that if you are, I guess if you do have a strategy of high-low or something else in other channels, actually thinking about the shopper who is shopping around will see the price that you are in the traditional supermarkets and traditional channels, as well as some of these newer channels, and really it's something to think about in terms of when you are setting your promotional strategies and your low pricing strategies.
Mm-hmm. I have another question from a packaging company. How do you see that the packages are changing, and what kind of development you can see in shelf-ready packaging? So what we see in the market is that the shelf-ready packaging is becoming crucial for discounters. As discounters are bringing more complexity into their store concepts, more products, bigger sales size. So they have to look how to keep their operational model very efficient, and shelf-ready packaging is one of them. So we believe that in the future there will be further requests from the discounters to produce products in shelf-ready packaging, in really efficient shelf-ready packaging, where the employee in the store just puts the box into the shelf without ripping off the top of the box, for example. Rupal, any other questions?
Yeah, so we've just had a question in about, do you think the single fixed price discounter has a future? So actually maybe we can both answer that. So from my perspective, I mean, I would say, as Milos talked about, the single fixed price discounters are evolving and they are trying new things. So again, if you look at Poundland, in some of their stores, they've introduced higher price points with special buys, and so things are now £5 or £8, and also launching the Poundland and More concept. Where they are trying, things moving away from the £1 kind of fixed price point. And from a shopper perspective, what I would say is that shoppers are looking for value for money, and so therefore, having a bigger pack sizes, if that helps, then absolutely, that's what they're looking for, is that value for money. So, having a bigger pack for more than £1 is absolutely brilliant. I guess the only watch out would be about whether they can take it home. So some of the high street locations, that's where it's a bit more of a challenge to have the bigger pack sizes, because obviously people then have to carry that home. I don't know if
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. I have another question. Would you say that guess how much is more traditional hard discount as the hybrid store concept? So as I highlighted in the presentation, I think this is the great example how the discounters are now tailoring their store concept to the shopper mission. So I think the guess how much concept is really great example. They are very clear what kind of shopper they are targeting in the store. And another question here is regarding loyalty schemes. What about loyalty schemes at discounters? So we have seen some initiatives, some newspaper talk about it as a loyalty schemes, but we personally don't believe that a discounter would launch a proper loyalty scheme as we know from Tesco or from Carrefour. We believe they will more, if they will be looking into the loyalty, they will be probably use some loyalty-based marketing campaigns, but I don't think that they would go into the complexity and the costly operation of a loyalty program.
It's another one for you, Milos.
Why hasn't Lidl introduced its deli concept in Poland yet? When do you think this might happen? Well, so I think the Lidl is looking, what's the potential for the ready meals and food to go, and what we have seen that in Central Eastern Europe, the shoppers have just very recently started to look to this, started to ask for the food to go and ready meals. So once Lidl recognizes the need in Poland, I strongly believe that it will launch, because here in the UK has very well developed deli range. In Germany we have seen also increased number of deli food to go products at Lidl. So I think it's just a matter of time.
Perfect. So I've got a question here, which is, with discounters taking on the attributes of mainstream supermarkets, what's the potential for mainstream supermarkets to take on the approach of discounters? And actually this is something that we're seeing more and more of. So for example, we've seen Tesco launch a brand outlet aisle, so almost mimicking a discount store within their larger store, where they've got some of these £1 price points and some of the brands that are available in the discounters being available in these kind of stores. So for a while we didn't see the supermarkets really hitting back at the discounters, but I think they've slowly realised that actually they need to take action. So as we've seen reactions from pretty much all of the main supermarkets. So Tesco hitting back with their brand outlet section, Asda really hitting back, particularly from a health and beauty perspective. So we've seen that they are really discounting some of their health and beauty ranges, particularly the more mainstream stuff like hand wash and shower gel, and taking it below the £1 price point even, so going down to 90p and and sometimes even lower than that. So really trying to keep that spend within their stores by discounting even more so than a high street discounter, for example.
Okay, any other questions?
I think that might be all we have time for. So thanks to all of you for listening today. And we hope to see you all again for our next IGD webinar.